All right, everyone, let's talk about some modifying items. Basically, when we select an item, let me select an asset, for example, this desk. Yeah, as I was saying, guys, basically, when we select an item in the Inspector tab, we would find some items. Also, here as well. Let's see what these items are and what we can do using them. First off, guys, we got some, you can say, rudimentary items or commands up here, scale and move. And as you can see, guys, both of them have the same shortcut, actually, we. So let's see what we can do using these two commands. You know what, let me go with another asset from nature. Let's see what we have here. Give me this tree, for example. Yeah, so I'm going to set this here. Now, take a look at this, guys. By pressing V on the keyboard, we would be able to switch in between these two commands. I mean, move and scale. Oh, and remember, guys, move and rotate are actually the same commands here. Scale is different. Let's check the scale. I'm going to activate the command, and then we can hold C, and then we can use the cursor to change the size here, as you can see. Now, let me show you something else, guys. I'm going to hold C and try resizing again. Let's reduce the size to this, for example. All right, now I'm going to hold C again, and this time I'm going to increase the size a bit, like this. What I just did, guys, was specifying some sort of a resizing range, and now whenever I press C, the asset would be resized based on it. Let me show this to you once more, guys. First, we need to press V and activate the scale command. And then we can specify the resizing range and then resize our asset based on the specified range. Just like this. Good, great. Now, if we press V again, this time the move command would be activated and we can, for example, move the assets around. Well, I mean, more precisely, both move and rotate. See, this is move. And this is rotate. And we can actually do this on different courses. Take a look at this. More precisely, different faces like XY, ZY, or XZ. Yeah, so we can apply the movement based on one of these vectors, or we can do this freely like this. And guys, after applying the movement, we can use this reset item here to set everything back. More on these later on. All right, let's see what other items we got up here, guys. There are world and local coordinate system. All right, let's see what these two items are and what's the difference in between them. Guys, when we use an asset, when we set an asset in our viewport, we might actually be setting them within different angles, okay? Now, currently this is set on world coordinates. I'm going to set this on local, and then I'm going to press T to view, and Z to zoom in. So we have a completely perpendicular view to these vectors, but this will change if we go with world coordinates, see? To be more precise, now the rotation angle would be specified based on world coordination. But again, if you go with local, as you can see, everything changes. Alright guys, using either one of these two coordination systems is actually optional. I mean, you can select one based on what you need. Alright, I'm going to press P and go back to perspective. Next up, we got pick material. Guys, we can select this and then we can select any of the materials that you want. And then right here, we can apply modifications on them basically. Again, more on these later on. That will be all regarding the items that we have up here, guys. Now, as I said earlier, guys, when we select an asset here on the right, we would see some items. Let's see what these are. First item here is duplicate, and it has a shortcut key as well. Control D. Take a look at this now. I'm going to select an asset and then press Control D. And we would duplicate this. We would get a copy of this, or we can create a similar asset. All right, next up we got flip. It is quite similar to mirror. Let me change my angle, change my camera view, and show this to you. Yeah, take a look at this now. See, I'm flipping this, guys. All right, let me find another asset. You know what? Instead of looking for an asset, let me search for one. I'm going to download this. Now I'm going to set it right on this desk. Now let's zoom in on it. Now let's flip this. Okay. Next up, we got focus on. This is the same as zoom, guys. See? By pressing Z. I'm going to select this tree. Focus on. Here we go. Same as zoom. Oh, and we can also select our objects from this list here and then either use focus on or zoom. For example, this one. Z. Here we go. You know what? Let me put it in this way. Z is a shortcut for this item. All right, next up, align. For using this item, I need several assets. Let me deactivate the search and try selecting several assets. For example, these ones. I'm going to set this here. And then this one next to it. And the other asset next to these two. All right, good enough. Now remember, guys, align would become activated whenever we have more than one selected asset. I'm going to hold the Control key and click on the rest of the assets that I want to add to my selection. And we can do the same for removing the assets from our selections. Anyway, align is activated now. I'm going to press T and go to the top view, then Z to focus on the selected assets. So we got 3 different locations, guys. Now, when we click on Align, all of them would be set in the exact same location. Let me show you another view. See? All of these are set, you can say, on top of each other. All right, moving on to the next item, which is Synchronize Coordinates. Guys, this item is most useful when we're dealing with an imported model. As an example, I'm going to enter Revit and take a look at this file. I'm actually going to use Save As here. Project. Let me find a folder. RVT. I'm going to save this here with one backup. Good. Save. All right. Now I'm going to do a right click here. Find in project browser. Select. Now I'm going to get a duplicate here. And then actually another one. 2 duplicates. You know what? Give me 3 actually. Now I'm going to rename this to Road. All right, good. Next one, Tree. And as for the third one, Cars. By the way, guys, these are RPC images. Okay. I'm gonna go with road first. Hide everything except for the roads. Now, next up for the tree. Again, I'm gonna hide everything, this time except for the trees. And the third one, hide everything except for the cars. You know what? Let's do something easier. I'm just gonna select this and use isolate category. All right, now I basically have 3 different parts, guys. 3 different and separate parts. Now I'm going to use the D5 render plugin to get some exports. Again, guys, remember, we're trying to talk about or explain the synchronize coordinate item. So I'm going to click on export here. And I'm actually going to use the same names here, road. All right, now next one, export. So it'll be for the tree. And the third one, cars. All right, let's go back to D5 render. All right, let me just remove all the assets here. Hold shift, right click. Where is it? Delete here. Next up, we need to import the model. So click on import up here and try importing these 3 models. Now, first, let's try setting or placing the road, guys. Let's see. I'm going to set it, for example, here. Now, next one, right click, place. Right, these are RPC, guys. So they're not being displayed here. Let me see. Yeah, these are RPCs, guys. Let's see what we can do about this. Back to Revit again. I'm going to set the detail level on medium. Now, let's get the exports again. We're going to talk about these settings, these detail level settings later on. All right. Now let's try setting the trees again. By the way, guys, we can find the imported objects right here. And you know what, guys? I'm actually going to remove the cars. Yeah, let's just stick with these two assets for now. Guys, these assets have different coordinates to them. However, let's assume that we're working on a project in which different parts have the same coordinates. Like, for example, the architecture file, the furniture, the interior design, and many more have the same coordinates. After importing all of them, guys, we can use Syn Coordinates to set them all, as you can see, in their own correct location. So yeah, this is actually quite useful, guys. Alright guys, next up we got add to local. This kind of works like some sort of a library, like a memory card. You can use it to save the assets that you want for further future usage. Like, you can import the assets, you can download them. I mean, you can, for example, use the default ones that we have in the software. For example, I'm going to use this asset here. Now, I'm going to press Z, zoom in on it. I'm going to select it and click on Add to Local. By doing this, this selected asset would be saved right here in our Local tab. By the way, guys, we can always do some organizing here, but we're going to talk about this later on in our future sessions. And you know what? I'm actually going to remove this. Now, take a look at this, guys. If I select two assets here, Add to Local would become deactivated. To make it work again, we should set these inside of a group. We can either use Ctrl-G or we can click on Group here. Oh, and just in case, we also have Ungroup here. Anyway, now that we have the group, guys, we can set both of the assets simultaneously inside our Local tab. Yeah, so basically, as you can see, guys, we don't really need to set everything inside this tab one by one and separately. And by the way, guys, we can always use the modifying items that we talked about earlier. Like, for example, as you can see, I'm trying to resize this. More precisely, I'm using scale. Right. After add to local, guys, we got reset. Well, let's say we've applied some modifications on an asset, and now we just want to set everything back to its default version. For doing so, we can use reset. Alright, next item is reload. It does, well, exactly just that. It reloads something. Like, for example, let's say if we've imported a model. Let me try to zoom in on this railing here. Okay. Here. Now, back to Revit again. And let's try changing the type here, changing the type of our railing. I guess this will do. Now save. Again from D5 render. Let's get an export, sorry. And now back to D5 render. Now here from objects, guys, if we do a right click, we can find reload. And well, we either can use this or we can just select the object and click on reload here. Confirm and done. Right, the next item here is called replace from asset. Let's say we got several assets here, like for example these trees, we've imported these and we want to replace these with the default ones that we got inside our software. Well, it is easy, just click on replace from asset. Now let's try selecting an object, an asset here to use as a replacement. For example, this. Now we're dealing with the same type, guys, and all of them have the same coordinates as well, so they would easily be replaced. Now select this and delete. And let's try setting these trees back. Also, let's try using Syn Coordinates one more time. By the way, guys, there are some extra settings and modifications which we'll be discussing in our future sessions. Yeah, for now we're just focusing on these items. Next up, we got replace from local. Again, another replacement item, this time with a file. To put this simply, guys, you can use this item whenever you want to replace different files with different formats, for example, together. Yeah. Moving on, here we got export. Using this, any object, any file, any aspect that we have here, you know what, let me try to select something here, for example, road. All right, basically, we can get an export here, guys. Well, as for the format, we can go with D5 render. And obviously, the export file could be used later on as well. Okay, moving on for now. Next up, we got make unique. Very useful item, guys. I'm going to select one of these assets and get a duplicate. Or you know what, even more than one. And by the way, guys, the asset could be anything. I'm using the imported file for now. Now, take a look at this, guys. I'm going to use pick material and, for example, change the color within all the asphalts. See, the modification got applied on all of them, guys. Now I'm going to select this and click on Make Unique. By doing this, the asset will become a unique one. It means that any modification would only be applied on this one, not the others. See? It works completely separately from others. And as I said, guys, the asset could basically be anything. Like, for example, I'm going to try selecting a default one this time. Yeah, let's set this one here, for example. Now, select, Control D, and basically just try setting several of this here. Now, again, let's try using pick material and change the color. Let me also zoom in. See, again, all of these are working together. Now, once again, let's, for example, select this and click on Make Unique. Now, the unique material, the unique asset would have worked completely independently from the others, guys. You know, this item is quite useful when you want to create several types out of a single asset. All right, next up we got random size. What I'm going to do would be selecting these 4 assets again and click on random size. By doing this, we would basically get different and random scales. And we also have random rotation, or even a random location. Well, I mean, all of these items are quite self-explanatory. Alright guys, that will be all for these items. We got another segment down here. Basic. It contains location, rotation, and scale. Now, the items are actually the same as before. The only difference would be the fact that we can use values here. Well, I mean, we can relocate them, we can rotate them, and we can also control their scale. However, for the scale, remember, we have this link. While it is activated, the resizing process will be applied on all the courses simultaneously, but when we deactivate it, we can resize everything completely separately on different courses. And yeah, guys, that would basically be all, for all the basic modifying items that we got in D5 Render.